Welcome to my React channel, everyone. Today we're going to be reacting to A Box in the Void, GAV and Bob, and OGRYN story. All the credit goes to, of course, A Box in the Void. This is his video, and I will put the video in the description. Alright, let's get to the video. Before we get into the video, on my main channel, his word only with the exclamation point, I do a Warhammer 40k lore in the Bible series, so if you're interested in that, you check it out. I'll put my channel in the description, but also know that I do regular biblical videos, which, let's just say your mainstream church, you probably won't hear it. But anyways, so if you want to check that out, I'll put the link in the description. Also, the videos, or this video will be in the description as well. Alright, and if I've earned a like and subscription, please consider doing so. Alright. Here we go. And hopefully my camera won't destroy the footage.
Was part of the Imperial Guard. He was a guardsman, and this made Gav very happy. Gav liked being a guardsman, because then he could do the will of the immortal God Emperor, and that was one of Gav's most favorite things to do in the whole world. Today it was Gav's turn to fetch the huge sack of potatoes from the food wagon, and to peel them.
Peeling potatoes for the Emperor.
Because he also liked eating potato peel. The Commissar said Gav was a good OGRYN.
I love potato skins, man. Potato skins with some cheese, some sour cream, and then me, personally, beef bacon. I don't eat pork bacon, but beef bacon. You can actually get some really good beef bacon, by the way, at Safeway. That tastes just like regular bacon, but better in my opinion. But anyways, getting a little too far off track.
All the things that he was told to do. This made Gav very happy. The Commissar was not like other Commissars, because he did not shout and shoot people for being scared of things like small spaces and the dark. This was good, because Gav didn't.
Is that an understanding Commissar? Anyways,
not like small spaces, and Gav was scared of the dark.
Hopefully ain't part of that
was when
message
came to get you.
I'm kidding.
The Commissar was Gav's friend. The Commissar was not an OGRYN like Gav, and was really smart, and could read and write, and Gav could not do that, because it was too hard.
I feel that.
Not even the Sarge could read long words. But the Commissar said that that was okay, because Gav was better at killing orcs than he was. This made Gav very happy, because Gav liked to be useful.
Do you want to help peel the potatoes, Bob?
Everybody does.
Bob was one of Gav's friends.
Oops.
They had come from the same tribe on the planet Barakak. Gav missed his tribe.
Can you bear a... Never mind. Barakak. Never mind. I'm sorry.
When the war against the orcs was over, he would be able to go back home. Or if more than 10 years was over. It had been nearly 2 years, and they had nearly won. The Commissar said this was because Gav and his friends were such good fighters, and they were making the Emperor happy by killing nasty orcs.
The Emperor protects.
The Commissar's name was Larrykin von Kelverstein, but he said that Gav and his friends could call him Ari if they wanted to, because they were all friends.
Yes, please,
said Bob. Bob liked eating potato peel too. For breakfast it was mashed potato and mushy peas. Gav did not like mushy peas. Peas should come in a pot.
You don't know what you're missing there, Gav. I love me some mushy peas. But then again, I come from a poor household, so we had a lot of mushy peas.
And they should not be mushy. Gav had used to grow peas for his tribe. Gav missed his tribe. But he also had such wonderful friends here as well. It was good to have friends. Especially when you had to kill orcs. Gav killed orcs with a big las cannon. The Commissar said it was a gift from the Emperor, so Gav kept it clean and shiny, and made sure...
He's barracacking. He's bearing a cack. Sorry.
...that he did not put it down somewhere and forget where. But sometimes he did. But then the Commissar would come and tell him where he had lost it, and then he would tell Gav not to do it again. But Gav always
I want to say something, but I won't.
did,
Anyways.
even though he never meant to.
It goes along with long lasers.
Bob killed orcs with a las cannon as well, but Bob did not lose his so much. Gav sometimes wished he was as good at not losing things as Bob was. The commissar did not have a big shiny gun like Gav.
He knows how to barrack.
All Ari had was a small long las rifle, but that was okay, because the Ari was very small. Commissar Ari was very clever, because he had been everywhere and done everything. Once, he had stood on a landmine, and one of his legs was made of metal. And
yeah, that'll do it.
When he kicked a stone. Gav was happy that his foot is not made of metal, because it sounds cold.
Probably is cold as well.
Bob liked having potato peeling contests with Gav.
Metal can get pretty
Gav kept
dang
on
cold.
Losing, but Gav did not mind, because
imagine like, a metal piece of bar or whatever, and just put your leg up against that, and it's really cold. Yeah. Anyways.
Because he was peeling potatoes for the Emperor.
Then again,
Gav loved fighting.
Anyways.
He wished he was better at it. Whenever he sparred with Bob, he always ended up knocked out. But he didn't mind. He knew that Bob was helping him get better. And the better he got, the better Gav could serve the immortal
Good
Emperor.
friend.
Gav hated the small tank he had to ride in. Every time he was called to serve the Emperor, he had to ride in that scary, dark place. But it was all right, because Bob was there.
I would hate that, man. Small spaces. I agree. I guess you have to fight through it, but man, that would suck.
And he'd lead all the other OGRYN in a rousing chorus of "The Emperor is the best."
The best.
They only knew the chorus anyway, but it helped the dark, tight place seem less scary.
Not even touching my mouse.
The flashing
Why
lights
is it
always
doing
made
this?
Gav happy. That meant he was going to serve his Emperor. That meant the door would open, and he'd be able to shoot his gun.
The Emperor protects.
Gav loved his gun. He loved it when he fired it, and
He's
the enemy
barracking.
died. He'd hold down the trigger and shout at the enemy, making them die in the name of his Emperor, his best friend Bob, right beside him. He liked Bob. Bob was his best friend. Gav had fought all kinds of enemies of the Emperor. His favorite were the greenskins, because they seemed to like fighting as much as Gav did.
It's about to get heartwarming, I'm guessing, And by the way, A Vox in the Void picked I would say, the right music for this. Did a good job.
He knew to go for the big ones, the one who was hitting all the others.
If you see this.
To see who would kill the big one first. Bob usually won. If you killed the big one, the regular orcs would be easier to beat. The bugs scared Gav. They made him sick to his stomach, especially when he slammed the butt of his gun against their head, and they blew up all over him. They smelled bad, and tasted bad.
That'll do it.
Couldn't cook bugs.
That will very much do it. But you know what? You can get fried mushrooms from it.
Not even the stumpies could make them taste good. The pants stealers were the worst. Gav always made sure his belt was extra tight when he fought pants stealers. The humans who turned against the Emperor always made Gav extra angry. Why would they stop loving the Emperor? What did the Emperor do to them, except love them and protect them? Gav always loved killing bad humans. It made
Power
him feel good.
corrupts.
Commissar Ari said that was good. Being angry against traitors was good. That made Gav happy. When Ari first told Gav that, he'd hugged Ari so hard, he'd had to stay in the Medicaid hotel for a week.
Ooh.
The food was really good when Gav visited.
Really?
Gav had only faced the metalheads once, but he knew that he never wanted to do it again. No matter how hard you hit them, they just get back up again.
So every now and then, guys, I do gotta stop it from the copyright, so that's why I've been stopping it. So I do want to get that out there.
It wasn't fair. Every other enemy was kind enough to die when you showed them how bad they were. The metalheads were cheaters, coming back to life like that. Bob said that Ari said that his Professor Kane at the big school was scared of the metalheads. Gav didn't believe him. Commissars aren't scared of anything, and Kane is some kind of super commissar. He must melt metalheads with his eyes or something. Gav hated the Eldar. They were like shiny bugs. You'd almost get your hands on them and they'd slip through your fingers. Their little arrows hurt too.
I don't even know what's going
Bob
on.
was better at fighting Eldar than Gav. He'd back them into a corner and crush their mushy bodies with his bare hands.
They break easy once
mushy
you
peas,
corner 'em.
Bob would say, shiny blood covering his uniform. That
get some mashed potatoes and some mushy peas. There you go.
Made Gav smile. He missed Bob. Bob always made him smile. Gav was there the day that Ari died. One day, Gav and Bob and all their friends had gone for a walk. They were walking through a forest. Gav liked the forest because it smelled like home. Ari was walking at the back of them. He always did this to make sure none of them got lost. Gav once got lost. It had made him scared. Ari never...
Welcome to 80% of the population on Earth in forests. Let me tell you, especially where I'm at, man, it's very hard to get lost if you don't know where you're going.
Got lost. He was really smart like that.
Yeah.
But then an orc, all dressed like a tree, shot him. Gav did not see it happen. He could not stop it. The sound of Ari dying had warned them all. They had killed the nasty orcs with the big guns the Emperor had given them. But Ari was dead. They took him back to the camp to see if the flesh fixer could fix him. He tried, but Ari had already gone to the Emperor. This made the whole tribe sad. Everyone in the tribe liked Ari. Ari was smart. They dug a hole for Ari to sleep in. Bob was the priest of the tribe, so Bob said the death words over the place where Ari slept. The whole tribe wept. They did not weep for Ari, because Ari was with the Emperor. They wept.
The Emperor protects. Yeah, there ain't nothing clever I could say here, so we'll just move on.
Because they had been left behind.
Without looking like an a-hole.
Losing Ari was bad, but losing Bob made Gav sadder than ever. Bob was the reason Gav hated demons as much as he did. He'd fought them before, and he found them to be so confusing. Some of them were easy, charging or shambling forward with big swords or small daggers. They broke easy. The skinny ones were like Eldar, but they made Gav feel weird. Looking at them was like looking at a girl OGRYN after Gav had learned what they were for. But they broke.
What? Don't do it. Anyways.
Easier than the red skin or rotting demons. Once you could stop them from dancing. The last demons were the kind that took Bob. He hated them most of all. He hated their laughing at him. They'd surprised them after Bob and Gav had been leading their new commissar. Gav could never remember his name, into a church to the Emperor. Gav had a headache the whole time. They'd made the place bad. They'd broken statues of the Emperor and carved a weird flame all over the church. That's when the demons had attacked. They'd burned the commissar before any of Gav's groups could react. They looked like water that had grown faces. Looking at those faces made Gav's nose bleed. Gav would never forget those faces. Bob rushed into the thick of things, like he always did. Bob was always that way, charging forward for the Emperor, killing his enemies. Bob was good at that. He was a good friend.
So Bob's the bullet sponge, and Gav is the hand, I guess, per se.
The water demons were fast, really fast. They jumped back and burned Bob to a crisp. But Bob didn't die like the commissar. Gav sometimes felt bad that he couldn't remember the commissar's name. He hoped someone remembered the commissar's name. Bob caught one of the water demons with his hands and...
That's me right there, in a nutshell. What's her name? What's his name?
Ripped it apart. It was pink before, and it had been happy, laughing. Now the two pieces were blue, and they weren't happy anymore. They attacked Bob and bit at him. The other tribe had started killing the other water demons, but they were too late. Bob's last words always made Gav sad.
I'm going to miss the potato skins.
Gav beat the blue water demons until he was slamming his hands into the floor of the church. He kept it up.
Anyone miss those TGI, or was that TGIF potato skins? Those were good, man. Even the frozen ones. Anyways,
He realized his hands were bleeding.
Rest in peace.
He kept doing it until he realized he was crying. He kept crying until the general had
Or at least I haven't seen any anywhere.
Gav still
in a
misses
long
Bob.
time.
Bob was a good friend. Gav had never wanted to kill one of his friends. The general was a friend, but he wanted to kill the general once. He wanted to kill the general when he said that Bob needed to be burned. The tribe had their ways. Bob needed to be honored and buried, like all good friends. But the general said that Bob's body was sick, that if they didn't burn it, those water demons could come back. They burned Bob's body right there in that church. But not before Gav got his tribe together and gave him a short, proper funeral. Gav was Bob's best friend. His other tribesmen let him give the last words.
Bob was a good friend. He liked to fight. He liked potato skins. He was a good soldier for the Emperor. Now he's with the Emperor.
Then one of the general's friends burned Bob's body right there in the Emperor's church. Now whenever Gav peels potatoes, he thinks of Bob. It doesn't hurt as bad anymore. Now he smiles and remembers how good a friend Bob was. Bob
If only we all had friends like that, huh?
Always made Gav smile. Even when he was dead, he could make Gav smile. Gav couldn't eat another potato skin. It didn't taste good anymore.
I'll take him.
Gav remembered the day he found the bad man who brought the water demons to the world. He would never forget that day. It was a week after Bob had been burned at the church. Bob was a good friend. The bad man had made an entire planet stop loving the Emperor. He was one of the space marines that had stopped loving the Emperor. He was blue and gold and made Gav's head hurt when he spoke. Gav hated him more than anything he'd felt about before.
Is that the Alpha Legion?
Except how much he liked Bob.
Yeah, that's the Alpha Legion.
The bad man had taken over one of the big churches on the planet. He was killing people to make more water demons. Gav wanted to stop him.
If anyone in the comments, put down who your favorite army is. And if you're an Alpha Legion guy.
He wanted to make the bad man pay for killing Bob. Bob had been such a good friend.
Also, if you have any ideas for me, lore videos or Warhammer 40k videos or whatever, put it down in the comments and I'll check it out.
Gav would make the bad man pay. A lot of Gav's human friends died to get to the bad man. The bad man had brought his friends with him. His friends killed a lot of Gav's friends.
That is
That
probably
only made Gav hate the
my
bad
grammar.
man more.
That bad man.
His fellow guardsmen slowly made it closer to the big church. Gav wasn't scared of his small tank anymore. He was angry. He would make the bad man pay.
Anger will do that to you. You'll totally forget about those fears of being in small spaces when Your friend has gone. So, anyways.
Foolish dullard.
There was something clever there, but I totally forgot mid-sentence what I was going to say.
The bad man used big words. His voice made Gav's head hurt. His eyes bled. But he continued to try to run towards the bad man.
Sorry for talking, but the chaos guy was talking. My bad.
Gav's tank had been blown up, and a lot of his friends were dead. They'd been good friends, but not as good as Bob. Bob was Gav's best friend. Gav would make the bad man pay.
Tell him, Gav.
The bad man was as big as Gav. He was standing on top of a big set of stairs, right at the entrance to the church. He made Gav's human friends die with lightning, and he laughed. Gav hated it when the bad man laughed. He wanted to make the bad man shut up forever. The bad man struck Gav with the lightning. It hurt. It hurt real bad.
Grab it and twist it.
Gav almost stopped running up the stairs. But then he remembered Bob. Bob wouldn't stop running. Bob would keep going. Gav wanted
and Barracack
to be like Bob. Gav wanted to make the bad man pay. Gav would always remember the day he walked with little godlings. The bad men in the blue and gold armor were hard to kill, and they used heresy and magic. That made Gav hate them. Gav heard whispering in his head. They whispered how he could have everything he ever wanted, but they had nothing he wanted.
It's bullcrap, and you know
they had taken a friend from him. Gav roared at them, and the bad men had died when he shot them.
Mad respect to Gav. Oh.
They could not whisper to him. His mind was too full of the Emperor's love, but they were too hard to kill, and they kept coming back. But the Emperor had sent his children.
That would be
to help
frustrating.
him. The Emperor had a lot of children, and they were all very strong. All of the Emperor's children were little godlings. Gav and the tribe fought with them. They were very hairy, and had teeth that were just like Gav's teeth. They had armor just like the bad men, but it was grey and blue. Gav wished he could wear armor like that. When the war was over, the godlings in the grey armor gave gifts to the tribe. They said the Emperor loved them very much. Then they sang songs for the dead.
Evolution has left you behind, scum.
Shush.
It's a pity you're
Be gone,
too
demon.
unintelligent to understand just how foolish you are.
The bad man wouldn't stop talking. Gav swung his big fists at him, but the bad man was fast. Faster than Gav thought he should be. Gav was getting tired, trying to hit him. The bad man hit him with his big staff. Gav went flying into a statue of the Emperor, shattering it. He felt bad.
You know, it'd be funny if that song Bad Man started playing. My bad. Oh, man.
He wanted to apologize to the Emperor for breaking his statue, but he couldn't catch his breath.
I won't sing it.
His entire body hurt. He'd never hurt so bad in his life. The bad man was kneeling beside him. He grabbed Gav's neck and squeezed.
I pity you, poor creature. For this, you shall get the kindness of a quick death.
Gav lifted himself up suddenly and headbutted the bad man.
You killed...
When all else fails, headbutt him.
Bob!
He shouted. He grabbed the bad man by the throat and lifted him up, driving his fist into the bad man's stomach.
You killed Bob!
The bad man shot lightning at him, but Gav hardly felt it. He was angry. Bob was a good friend, and the bad man's demons had killed him. Gav would make the bad man pay. The bad man kicked and punched at Gav, but Gav wouldn't let go. His arms hurt from holding the bad man up.
You killed Bob!
You tell him.
He tossed the bad man onto his stomach and jumped on top of him,
bad man.
grabbing his strange helmet and slamming his head down into the concrete. Again and again.
I guess I ended up dead singing. My bad.
You killed Bob!
Slam.
You killed Bob!
Slam.
You killed Bob!
Slam. Gav was crying now. Bob had been a good friend.
You killed Bob!
Slam! The bad man wasn't moving now.
You killed Bob!
Slam! The bad man's helmet was leaking this strange powder.
You killed Bob!
Slam! Slam!
Somebody be doing them drugs.
Slam! Slam! He was still slamming the empty armor into the ground when the Emperor's grey children came. His skin was burned and blackened. His eyes were bleeding as he cried, and every bone in his hands were broken. But he'd made the bad man pay.
Yes, sir, for the Emperor. Alright, guys, we're going to end it there. Again, on my main channel, I do regular biblical videos and a Warhammer 40k lore in the Bible series, and then a comedy series that's on its own channel, Rise of Space Marine Dude, and then of course this React channel. So if you want to subscribe to all of them, they'll be in the description. And thank you guys, and for all the support. You know, we made it to 7 subscribers last time, and hopefully we can get some more off of this. Again, thank you, and you guys have a wonderful day.